During this summer class, we built many different versions to our MSET portfolio. So on my screen right now, this was my original portfolio coming into the class that I started to build when I first entered into the program. We then went and dived a little bit further into WordPress, developing our sandbox page. We looked at Google Sites. Here's my Google Site version of the MSET portfolio. We explored Wix. Here's my version for Wix. We also used Weebly. And last but not least, we have WordPress.com, which was one of the last that we built during this class. So each have their own advantages, disadvantages. One big takeaway is the ability to really enhance the site or edit the site in code view. Really the only ones that you could code in or attempt to code, again, it was kind of limited, was WordPress, WordPress.com, and Weebly. Again, with those programmed themes that you use, you're kind of limited on what you can do. I was a little worried trying to go in and try to change some of the coding for some of the themes, just because if you did make one little mistake, it's going to throw off the whole design of your site. Google and Wix, unfortunately, they do not offer the options to go in and edit code. But to be completely honest with you, I think those were my favorite sites to use. Maybe I'm biased here, but I just love everything Google, the whole Google suite, and just Google Sites itself is so easy to set up. And I think for the most part, out of all of the sites I built this semester, this one was my favorite because I think it just looks so professional, so clean cut, and just so user friendly. Being able to design it more to the eye versus going in and coding and customizing it using CSS. I really like the design feature and being able to embed videos in Google Docs, all things relating to Google. I guess I'm being a little biased here on Google Sites. Um, I thought between Wix and Weebly, I preferred Wix. I thought this was very easy to set up, and you had some options on how you wanted to customize this. Weebly, I thought was a little bit more of a challenge, which I didn't really necessarily think that was going to be the case. I've never personally used Wix or Weebly before this course, and I've always seen commercials advertising for both companies. And I've had students work on projects and they've used Weebly and their sites have come out great. And this was the first time I was going on the site, and I thought compared to the two, Weebly was a little bit more challenging. But again, I got through it. I learned how to add buttons to it. It was definitely more of a challenge. If I had to go through building a site again, I don't necessarily know if I would use Weebly. I think it has pros and cons, especially it might be better for a business. They do have a ton of templates, especially for restaurants if you're setting up a menu. If it's a portfolio where you're showcasing your graphic designs, gallery kind of style, definitely see it being used for those circumstances. But for me personally, Weebly was not my favorite. WordPress.com was similar to WordPress.org. The only difference was really the flexibility of the themes, what you could and could not do with it. I apologize if you hear any rain in the background. I'm filming this and it's starting to pour outside, so you might hear some rain in the background. When it comes to a teacher site, I really do like the Google structure along with WordPress. I think the sandbox, this definitely was a challenge to create the blogging portion, all the different posts and setting this up. It took a lot of time, but it also, I benefited a lot from this because I felt going into the MSET program, I really didn't know too much about WordPress. I just knew the basics of how to set up a basic page. As you can see on my main page of the site. Now I feel that I definitely know the ins and outs of WordPress. So I could definitely see myself in the future building a teacher page using WordPress instead of another site or Google. But these were all of the websites that I worked on during the semester. Again, I really, really appreciated this course. I learned a lot that I'm excited to now take back into my own teaching of web design in my classes back at the high school. And yeah, thank you for a great semester.